Coming up on Mountain News this morning, fire crews work for several hours to battle a fire near downtown Hazard. And areas in our region see some serious flooding after experiencing some heavy rain.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, I'm Keaton Hall. Dakota Makers is off this morning, but we've got me and Cameron, so let's throw it over to him for a look at the weather.
Yeah, it is another soggy start to our day across the mountains, and more showers and storms. They are going to continue through the rest of today and really for the rest of the work week. So it's going to be a really good week to stay up to date with the forecast, because we could see a few areas of high water across the mountains later on today. Here is a live look over at UVA-wise this morning. A few raindrops on the camera lens. Current temperature sitting at 70 degrees, and all of us are waking up in the 70s this morning. 75 in Somerset and London, 74 in Irvin, 73 for Jackson, and 72 for Wayne and Pikeville. Here is a look at pinpoint Doppler this morning, and some heavier showers and storms just to the south of Pikeville over southern Pike County into Floyd County and Knott County just to the south of Hindman. Also over portions of Perry County this morning, and we are also tracking a few showers over northern Clay County, and these are heavy and they are producing some very heavy rainfall. And we are a little bit cautious of rain today because of the amount of rain we had yesterday, up to 5-6 inches. This is radar estimated. It probably is not correct, but several inches of rain fell yesterday over portions of Pike County and Floyd County, so any more rain is not needed, and we are unfortunately going to see plenty more rain through today and into the rest of the work week. I have that full forecast coming up in just a little bit. Keaton.
Thank you, Cameron. Several fire departments battled a large structure fire late Tuesday and into the early hours of this morning. The fire happened at a building on Combe Street near downtown Hazard. Officials say the fire was put out and the scene was cleared around 3 o'clock this morning. An eyewitness tells us no people were inside the building, but at least one pet needed to be rescued.
Well, I was laying in bed watching TV, and I looked out my window, and I seen smoke and a little bit of fire. I jumped up and run outside right quick and grabbed the water hose, and then I heard a dog barking, so I kicked the window in on the house was burning and got the dog out. Then I took my water hose and tried to put the fire out and the fire department got here. There's been a few homeless people in and out of it, and as far as I know, there was no power hook to it. But like I said, the only thing I seen in there was the dog. It's scary, especially with my three girls and women. I had to wake them up and get everybody out of the house and everything. It was pretty scary.
No injuries have been reported at this time. An old part of Renfro Valley in Rockcastle County was heavily damaged in a fire. Crews say the building on Hummel Road is now private property being used for storage. They say someone driving by yesterday morning saw the flames. Firefighters from 3 departments showed up. They had to shuttle water in because it's such a rural area. Crews were able to save a dog and stop the flames from spreading to other buildings. They do not think storms caused the fire.
We've had some rain move through, but I think that it's nothing related to this. We've not had no lightning or strikes, nothing of that nature.
It's not known what caused the fire. No injuries were reported. Many are concerned about possible flooding with more heavy rain on the way. You can hear it here now at the station. It's pounding the roof. WYMT's Jordan Mullins has more from the Big Sandy, where several areas saw some high water yesterday.
Many areas of the Big Sandy are already seeing dangerous flooding, especially in Floyd County, where several roads are blocked by floodwaters across roadways.
We have several locations with water over the roadway, whether it's ditch runover or runoff from hillsides or whatever, but several of the creeks are over their embankments too, so that's caused a serious problem with the creeks being run over.
First responders there were busy with several calls reporting people trapped in homes and cars.
We've had several vehicles stranded with people trying to get to, and as of right now, we're having rescue squads and sheriff's departments and other emergency personnel trying to get to locations, but they can't on account of some water and some difficulties.
In Johnson County, things are mostly calm, but officials are no stranger to dangerous flooding and have seen deaths in the past.
We've had drowning victims. The majority of the time that happens in vehicles.
Paintsville-Johnson County Emergency Management Director Gary McClure wanted to remind folks of the important adage, turn around and don't drown, if waters start passing over roadways.
Call 911. Any of the counties have the capabilities to get volunteer fire departments and swift water rescue teams to you to try to get you out of the situation that you're in.
And to call for help if you find yourself in danger. Jordan Mullins, WYMT Mountain News.
McClure says it's important for folks to remain weather aware throughout the rest of the week, with more rain in the forecast. Along Abbott Creek Road in northern Floyd County, some areas were completely covered by water yesterday. Some homes were flooded as well. David Stumbo has lived on this road for 3 years and said he's seen the water come up like this a couple of times. He says some parts of the road had knee-deep water.
The bad thing about here is the creek's lower than what this is, and all the water comes. It jumps the bank up there, comes down through here, and tries to get back to the creek.
The people that live in that neighborhood say they've expressed their concerns before, but nothing has ever changed. Floodwaters ran high in parts of Mingo County, West Virginia yesterday, specifically in the Gilbert Creek area where neighbors spent the evening cleaning up after flooding left behind a big mess. Neighbors say a downpour began around 9 a.m. and water began coming out of Gilbert Creek's banks about an hour later, making the drive home quite the ordeal for some. Ezreal Hatfield says he'd wait for water to recede over part of the road, only to find more high water a little farther ahead.
I left my house this morning about 9:30 to go to Gilbert to the pharmacy and been trying to get home ever since.
With more rain in the forecast this week, locals are hoping to avoid a repeat of yesterday's floods. For every 1,000 births in the Appalachian region, 77 babies are born exposed to drugs. Now, Baptist Health Richmond has developed a plan for pregnant mothers seeking recovery. The HOPE program offers several support services for expecting mothers through birth and postpartum. Case managers help navigate mothers through the stages of the program.
The fact that we have a team approach and we really try to create a non-judgmental, supportive environment, they really feel supported along their pregnancy and recovery journey, so they, stay with us for the duration.
Since starting in April, 2 women have graduated from the program, with currently 6 active participants enrolled. Tuesday marked 32 years since the Americans with Disabilities Act was signed, and yesterday the Disability Resource Center in Perry County hosted its first ever celebration of the anniversary. During the event, community resource booths were set up to provide people with information, and the Spirit of the ADA Awards took place to honor people in our local community who have advocated for people with disabilities.
People with disabilities, no matter what type of disability they have, can be a contribution to the community. We're not here to show that we need help or the services we need. We're here to show that we can support each other.
If you or a loved one is in need of assistance, the Disability Resource Center staff says you don't need a referral, but they prefer that you call ahead and make an appointment. 2 state lawmakers talked with the Hazard Perry County Chamber of Commerce yesterday on several topics that impact us here in Eastern Kentucky. WYMT's Dakota Makeris brings us their discussion.
State Representative Chris Fugit and State Senator Brandon Smith talked to members at the chamber meeting Tuesday morning, focusing on coal jobs, ATV trails, and the Wendell Ford Airport in Perry County.
The ATV trail system in West Virginia, we've seen that they have grown their small coal town counties. Last year, economic impact was $38 million.
State leaders want Eastern Kentucky counties to bring in that much money or more. Representative Fugit says 19 counties are on board for the ATV trail system. With ATV use, he says last year, Knott County made $300,000 at its campground.
We want to connect cities to the trail system so people can come down into the cities and eat at restaurants, stay in motels, get gas, stop at the mini marts, and do all that. So
Leaders are also working on expanding the runway at Wendell Ford Airport. Senator Brennan Smith called the project critical.
The steps that we have to go to allocate the funding, and then you have to do the buying of the right-of-way and the design, it's really kind of complicated, but this has moved along pretty quickly.
Senator Smith says we are seeing a spike in the demand for coal, saying millions of dollars is going into the coal severance tax.
Looking at our numbers this morning, projected, I think it's $31.9 million for 22-23.
Saying after that money pays for debt services on bonds released in previous years, a large majority will be left over for our counties. In Perry County, Dakota Makris, WYMT Mountain News.
Hazard's North Fork Music Festival this past weekend was briefly talked about among chamber members. City officials tell us about 850 people attended the festival. Plans are already underway for North Fork Oktoberfest on October 15th.